Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be predicting the scores of week 23 of this 2019-2020 Premier League season. But before we predict the scores for week 23, let's have a quick look back at how well or how badly we got on in week 22.
So last week I had a pretty average week. I got 6 points with no perfect results.
And I came away with 8 points with one perfect score, that being the Everton home win over Brighton, which ended 1-0. Representing the viewers last week was Blue Army, and Blue Army came away with 8 points as well. And he or she had the Chelsea versus Burnley score perfectly correct, which ended 3-0. So overall now, Nathan, you're on 162 points, I'm on 160 points, and the viewers languishing behind with 149 points. Now, top scorer for last week was Matthew Medley, and Matthew came away with a nice score of 12 points. And I think he had 2 perfect scores overall, and he had 8 out of 10 results. But that's enough for week 22. Let's move on and predict some scores.
Okay, so first up we have Watford versus Spurs. Now Watford really picking up form here, won their last 3 matches. Got a really good win over Bournemouth last time, 3-0. I thought it'd be a lot less than that, but they did play really well in the end. Whereas Spurs, struggling in 8th. I think the Mourinho bounce has really worn off now. Lost their last 2 matches, both to Southampton and Liverpool. Now, you could sort of say tricky fixtures, but it was against Southampton, and yeah, it's difficult to see whether Tottenham will win this one, but because of Watford's form, I can't see either side being separated in this one. I think it's going to be too close, and I don't think Spurs will be up for it in this one. I think they're going to massively miss Kane for a bit, and I can see this one ended in a 1-1 draw.
Well, they did gain that victory in the FA Cup last night, of course. But you never know. But yeah, Kane is going to be sorely missed. However, when he was out last time, I think the likes of Son, Lucas Moura, they all step up. Dele Alli as well has sort of had a little bit of resurgence under Mourinho. However, Watford in fine form at the moment. Not lost at home since I think mid or early November.
Basically since Nigel Pearson's come in.
So they're going to be well up for this one. They had a fantastic win against a very poor Bournemouth side, which I'll come on to very soon, I think, when Bournemouth we discuss Bournemouth's fixture. But in this one, I'm actually going to go for a home win in this one. I think Watford are looking very good at the moment. Sarr doing superb there. Deeney up amongst the goals. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win to the Hornets. Next up, we've got Arsenal against Sheffield United. I cannot predict how Arsenal are going to do.
No one knows.
Last week,
inconsistent.
I thought maybe they turned a little bit of a corner. Okay, they did gain that draw against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace had a lot of injuries last week, although Zaha, surprising to me, actually played. Coming up against Sheffield United. Sheffield United had a good home win against West Ham. West Ham, of course, you could say, if there is such thing as a managerial bounce, they had that good first win from David Moyes in charge. Yeah, difficult one to predict this, so I'm going to sit on the fence. I can't see Arsenal winning. Aubameyang got sent off in the last fixture as well,
so it won't be available.
So goal scoring wise, it's going to be
Lacazette.
Yeah, it's going to be on their shoulders. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. And Sheffield United fans, how do you feel about Oliver McBurney? Is he now a Honey G impersonator? You know, he was there amongst the Swansea fans cheering the Swans on against Cardiff City. Got no problem with that, but just look at what he was wearing last week.
He looked hideous.
A total embarrassment. I wonder if we'll be seeing any more Honey G impersonations from Ollie McBurney over the coming weeks and months. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one.
Ollie McBurney, you're an idiot. But anyway, Arsenal, so inconsistent. You just can't predict what they're going to do at the moment. Some weeks they're playing better football than Barcelona, other weeks they can't defend for the world. But they're coming up against the Sheffield United side, who strong performers. Yes, they did have a dip in form a few weeks ago, but they've just been playing so well recently, and I don't know, they should be able to overturn an Arsenal side like this, especially with how they've been playing and the position they are in the table as well. But so hard to predict. So, mainly because Aubameyang's out, I'm going to say that this one will be a stalemate and it'll be 1-1. Next up we have Brighton versus Villa. Now, to the Brighton fan who always goes on about me saying that I'm biased against them, I'm actually going to give you a win this week. It's about time. I said it was going to be coming, and I will give it to you this week. You've been playing well recently. To be fair, you have been playing pretty poorly recently. We're once in 6, but you're coming up against a Villa side who are so inconsistent. It's ridiculous. Dean Smith, current favourite to get sacked again. The amount of injury problems they have. They've got Pepe Reina in the window as well. Signed him on a loan until the end of the season to replace Tom Heaton, but I can't see Villa winning for a while now. I think that the question is, do they need to change or not, and will things turn around for the villains? Really hard to say, but I think Brighton have this one in the bag down the Amex, and I can say this will be a 2-1 victory to the Seagulls.
Yeah, I think this is a very tricky one for Brighton, because Aston Villa, if you look at their victories this season, okay, they've only had 6 of them. They have been against clubs.
Same amount as Arsenal, that is, as well.
Yeah, it is, but it's been against clubs in the lower half of the table. They haven't really beaten, any meaningful opposition, although the meaningful opposition for Villa are going to be those teams in the bottom of the league. So they have been picking up points there. So this could end up in a draw. However, I'm going to give Brighton the benefit of the doubt in this one. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory to the Seagulls in this one. Next up, we got Manchester City against Crystal Palace. Manchester City in very good form. They've won 5 of their last 6 fixtures.
Very good.
At least absolutely demolishing, taking apart Aston Villa last game week. I think it's going to be similar. However, they're not going to score a hatful in this one. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory to Man City. We know that Crystal Palace have got those sort of injury concerns at the moment. So, straightforward 3-0 victory to Man City in this one. And Riyad Mahrez is in very good form, and also Aguero scoring a hat-trick last week as well.
Aguero, 12 hat-trick, most hat-tricks that any player in the Premier scored since the tournament was revamped and everything, or the league was revamped and everything. But I wonder if it's hard to predict if there's going to be a repeat of last season. Andros Townsend on the volley, what a worldie that was. Don't get how he didn't win the Puskas Award, that was ridiculous. But I can actually see Man City winning, but very narrowly. I don't think it'll be one of those 6-1 or 5-0 demolishings that they have had recently as well. But I reckon this will be a narrow 2-0 victory to Man City. Next up, we have the hardest one to predict of this week, Norwich and Bournemouth. Who do you predict to win this one? That is the question. Both of them got the worst form in the league. Norwich can't win, or they can score, they just can't get points on the table, and their defence is so leaky, it's ridiculous. And Bournemouth just can't seem to do anything at the moment. They're really pressing the self-destruct button here, but nothing. I can't see anything happening in this one. Either way, it's going to be a stalemate. Just will both of the teams score? No, 0-0.
0-0. Yeah, this one. Yeah, as you say, a difficult one to predict this one. However, I think Pukki is probably going to be out of this one. It looks like he is 50-50.
Yeah, Norwich aren't scoring then.
Norwich aren't scoring. Bournemouth, absolute terrible defending last weekend against Watford. They shot themselves in the foot near the end of that first half, playing out for the back. You're at the bottom of the table, you're playing out for the back. You can't go messing about when you're at the bottom of the table. You've just got to get it out of your half into your opponent's half and play from there, build from the halfway line, not straight out from the goalkeeper. You're put under pressure and you can see that first goal, and then you're trying to get back into the game, and Watford just took them apart and come away with that 3-0 victory. So I can't see, I can see a draw in this one. However, it's at home for Norwich. If they're going to win a game this season now for the rest of the season, it is going to be against the Cherries, and I'm going to go for a very narrow 1-0 victory to Norwich in this one.
Interesting.
Next up, we got Southampton up against Wolves. Another tricky one to predict. Wolves on a bit of a steady run at the moment. They are playing Manchester United tonight, and by the looks of their team, they got a very strong team out this evening in the FA Cup. Southampton in fine form. Danny Ings scoring for fun. Could he be on the way out of Southampton?
Doubt it very
Tottenham,
much.
Without Harry Kane at the moment, do you think he could go to
No, I think that'll
Spurs?
be a waste of money.
No,
plus Levy won't give the funds for it either. He'll probably be on a loan deal.
Well, they've got to get somebody in at Tottenham. But Southampton find themselves in 12th position at the moment, winning 4 matches out of their last 5. Wolves a little bit stuttery was said, haven't actually won in 3 matches now. And I think for the fine form that Southampton are in, defensively sound as well, not conceding too
Very
many
good at the
goals,
back.
I'm going to go for a home win in this one.
Interesting.
And I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to the Saints.
I don't know. I sort of disagree with you here. I think it will be close, but I think not Bournemouth. I think Wolves will start to turn it round now. They did look promising against Newcastle at home. Really, they could have won it, but just not good enough in the end. Newcastle's form has been dire recently as well. But I don't know. I think Nuno will give them a kick, and then they'll start to play, for them again. I just think they'll overcome Southampton. Southampton aren't really the best at home, but I think it'll be a 2-1 victory to Wolves. Next up, we have another difficult one to predict. We have West Ham versus Everton. West Ham will not manage a bounce, but I think that's just going to end there. I think Moyes' star power has run out already. That's what happens when you bring managers back after so quickly. There's no ambition at that club at all. Gold and Sullivan just need to leave now. Just like
Are you a West Ham fan?
Just like all the West Ham fans say. But yeah. I think Everton under Ancelotti looking really good, really dangerous. They're going to win again, 2-1.
Yeah, it is a very difficult one to predict this. Everton last weekend, Walcott when he was through, he was pulled back. VAR wasn't pulled into question. If he goes down, it's a penalty. Referee does nothing.
As they all do.
Yeah, I don't know what the ref was doing in that match. So
Lazy.
It should have been a bigger deficit to Everton last weekend in that victory over Brighton, but they gained the victory all the same. I think going away to London, not the best on the road, Everton, so I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I think it's going to be stalemate at 1 each. Next up, we got Newcastle at home against Chelsea. This takes place at 5:30 on Saturday evening. There's quite a few 3 o'clock kickoffs,
And that's the way it should be.
This weekend, which is always good to see. I had my reservations of tipping Chelsea in this one because I thought their form was a bit iffy, but looking at it, they've had some very good victories recently.
Results.
Newcastle, a lot of injuries at the moment.
Plagued by them.
They did get that surprising to me 1-1 draw away against Wolves in the last game week, but I think Chelsea are going to just carve out a narrow win in this one. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Chelsea, although Newcastle look very strong at home. I don't think they've lost that many games at all at home this season, so it's going to be a very narrow win to the Blues in this one.
Well, really, Newcastle would be in the top half if they didn't have such a poor away records, but I don't know, I got a feeling that Newcastle are going to be able to sneak a draw in this one. Joe Linton started to score, Almiron's on fire at the moment, so Maximum's, I believe, still injured.
He is,
unfortunately. The whole team's looking strong, and I think Chelsea are going to go up there, and I just think they'll end up getting a draw. Newcastle will be too strong at home for them, so Desmond's 2-2. Next up, we have the 2 o'clock kick-off on Sunday between Burnley and Leicester. Now, Burnley lost 4 matches on the trot, and Leicester losing surprisingly to Southampton last week. Did not expect that, even though it's still shocking to think that it's 10-3 on aggregate now.
Something like that, but you could say, looking at stats, you could say they've lost 3 of their last 5, or they've won 2 of their last 3. So
exactly,
you can spin it any way, can't you?
That's a good point, but I don't know. But Burnley have struggled, but they've been mainly struggling to the teams in the top half, especially in the top 6.
Well, you could say Villa surprisingly beating them.
That was very shocking. That was, but I can see their issues struggling. 2-1 to Leicester, and that will be Burnley's 5th consecutive defeat, plunging them further down the table. Yeah,
I agree. I think the Foxes are going to come away with a victory in this one, even though Leicester they're not really firing on all cylinders at the moment. I know Vardy's back now. He was out for a little while. Maybe that little dip in form was because of how the way that Leicester play. It's they're so reliant really on Vardy getting the goals and with the assists as well. But I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory to the Foxes in this one. I think Burnley will be stubborn, but they won't be able to keep out them in the end. Last fixture of the weekend is the big one to many, which is Liverpool against Manchester United at Anfield. Liverpool on this tremendous run of winning 20 of their 21 matches that they played in the Premier League so far this season. Man United, good form, bad form, you could say.
Depends who they're playing, really.
Yeah, they have won 3 of their last 4 matches. Good 4-0 victory last time out. Liverpool are going to be too strong for them in this one.
Strong.
I know that Liverpool, they weren't at their best really against Spurs. Spurs really should have got something out of that match, Spurs, in this one. But it's at home. It's Manchester United. It's this massive rivalry between the two clubs. And I think Liverpool, they're not going to concede. Liverpool haven't actually conceded in the last 6 Premier League matches, which is phenomenal. I don't think they'll concede against Man United here. 2-0 victory to the Reds in this one for me.
I'm going to shock you and say they are actually going to concede. I think Rashford, with his form at the moment, I think he'll... I don't know, I just got a feeling Man United will sneak one in, but Liverpool, just way too dominant for them, 3-1.
Yeah, I think Rashford is... I think he's picked up a little bit of a knock. I don't think he's playing this evening. We're looking at against Wolves.
They're probably going to rest him, I imagine, the rivalry on Sunday.
Yeah, so we'll see if he does play in that fixture. But he is important to them as well. Okay, so that concludes our predictions for week 23. This is the 2019-2020 Premier League season. As usual, I'm going to leave a template of these fixtures in the description. If you want to play along at home, all you need to do is copy and paste them into your comment. And like Matthew Medley, you could get a shout out in the next video if you get the top score of the week. Also, on Friday evening, I'm going to be picking somebody at random to represent you guys for the next week's fixtures as well. But before we go, Nathan, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, sub to my channel, link in the description below.
Okay, and you think that Dean Smith could be teetering on the edge of...
he's the favourite to go at the moment. I think he's 2-1 in the odds, but I don't think as a homeboy, and with the wonders he did last year after Cabbage Man left.
What about Eddie Howe looking to be under pressure there at Bournemouth?
He's under pressure, but...
And I know that Cherry fans aren't happy at the moment.
I know they aren't happy, but if they're sensible, then they keep him on, because he can work wonders in the Championship. Yeah. And he'll be able to get them straight back up. Now, I'm not saying that he should stay the season after.
Yeah, he's done very well since they have come up to the Premier League. So, one... bad season out of whatever 5-6 seasons, whatever it is. You can't just turn around.
No, you can't
sack him.
No, you got to. What I'm saying with this one is, if you get relegated, then keep him on, and then if he starts to do poorly in the Championship, then maybe consider getting a change. But if he takes you straight back up, maybe see what happens for a season. If you then struggle, maybe look for a different manager. But a lot of footballing YouTubers mentioning a few HITC Sport Irish man, go watch him. He was saying as soon as Eddie Howe leaves, then Bournemouth are straight back down to mid-table Championship, maybe lower half. So it could be the Eddie Howe effect. Put it in the comments, guys.
Make your comments there, Cherries fans. But for now, Nathan, I've enjoyed this evening making our predictions for week 23. I'll see you next week.
And
I'll see you guys next week.
Very cringe.